Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's webinar about exploring Angola's agri potential, insights ahead of the trade mission, which will happen next month. From the Netherlands to Angola. My name is Núria Flon Suarez, and I'm the Managing Director of the Netherlands African Business Council. And delighted to be your moderator for this session. And with this webinar today, we hope to achieve and to provide you with first-hand insights into one of Africa's most promising agricultural markets. As you may know, Angola at the moment is undergoing major transformation, definitely aiming to diversify its economy, strengthen food security, and very importantly, to reduce its dependence on imports. And that at the same time offers great chances for Dutch businesses. This opens up exciting opportunities in sectors where the Netherlands excels, thinking about poultry, horticulture, feed, and agri-logistics, among others. The country has very fertile soils, at the same time, a growing population, and the government is definitely focusing on strategic investments in infrastructure, including the Lobito corridor. We will hear more about that later. And Angola is definitely positioning itself as a key player in the regional and agricultural chains. So today's session is designed to help you understand the market dynamics and also the investment priorities and the role of the Dutch expertise, how the Dutch expertise can play an important role in supporting Angola's food system transformation. Whether you join in the mission or you're just simply exploring new markets, this webinar will definitely provide you valuable context and practical insights. And at the same time, you'll be able to make connections with key stakeholders. So, just three remarks that I would like to include before I pass the word to the first presenter. This presentation will be shared with you afterwards via email. And at the end of the webinar, there is a Q&A session, but also feel free to share your questions in the chat. And the webinar is at the moment, being recorded, and it will also be shared afterwards. So, without further ado, let's begin with a word of welcome from His Excellency Ambassador Salvador Jesus. He's the Consul General of Angola in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam. And he's also officially commissioning this mission. And he and his team are working extremely hard behind the scenes to make this mission a success. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Nuria. I think I don't need to introduce myself. Nuria already did. And to save time, let me go to my brief words. Dear entrepreneurs, distinguished speakers, and esteemed participants and friends, it is with a great honor that I welcome you all to this important webinar, convened in preparation for the forthcoming agricultural trade mission to Angola, scheduled for October of this year, in a closely partnership with NABC, Private Investment Agency and Export Promotion of Angola, and the Ministry of External Relations of Angola. Allow me, on behalf of the Ministry of External Relations of Angola, and in particular the Consulate General of Rotterdam, my team, to express my deep appreciation for your presence and for the keen interest demonstrated by Dutch partners in exploring new avenues of cooperation with Angola. Our country is firmly committed to advancing economic diversification and strengthening food security. The growing demand for poultry, the vast potential of our arable lands, water, and the determination to reduce reliance on imports are clear signals of Angola's ambition to transform its agriculture sector into a driver of inclusive and sustainable development. In this endeavor, the Netherlands emerged as a natural partner. Dutch expertise in poultry production, animal feeds, horticulture, and cold chain logistics is globally recognized. Equally, the Netherlands' long-standing commitment to innovation in a climate-smart agriculture aligns with Angola's own priorities for sustainable growth and resilience. The development of strategic infrastructure, such as the Lobito Corridor, further underscore Angola's readiness to host integrated agri-logistics value chains, ensuring not only national food security, but also regional markets opportunities. This webinar thus represents an invaluable platform for dialogue, for sharing insights, and for identifying concrete pathways to strengthen the partnership between Angola and the Netherlands. It's my hope that the discussions today will inspire meaningful engagement and pave the way for productive collaboration during the October trade mission. I thank you once again for your participation and wish you a most fruitful, enlightening session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. We will now move to the next presentation, actually the first presentation of today, which will be given by Mr. Bruno Baptista. He's the head of promotion and private investment attraction at AIPEX. And Mr. Baptista will share insights into Angola's investment priorities, growth sectors, and incentives for Dutch businesses. The floor is yours, Mr. Baptista.
Thank you very much, Nuria. Um, Once again, thank you for inviting my pets to be part of this webinar and this trade mission. My name is Bruno Baptista. I'm the head of the Department of Promotion and Investment Attraction at AIPEX. And I'll quickly speak a bit how AIPEX supports private investors and also some business opportunities for foreign investors. Why invest in Angola? Angola is an emerging market with huge growth potential. The country has a young and very dynamic population, which is ideal to drive both skilled labor and domestic consumption. Angola's strategic location also makes it a gateway for to Southern and Central Africa. So investors, by investing in Angola, they easily can have access to the markets around the region. We have here countries like the DRC, which has population of about 100 million consumers. So this is a great opportunity for companies, to export the products from Angola into DRC. The country also has a lot of resources. We have around 35 million hectares of arable land, and only 14% of that is currently being used. We have also 69 million hectares of forest. We have a coastline of 1,650 kilometers and 7.5 million hectares of suitable for irrigation. Also, in terms of mineral resources, the country has 38 of the 50 most used minerals in global industry. Over the past few years, since 2017, the government has implemented a broad reform agenda with the objective of stabilizing the economy and also stimulating investment into the country. Among those reforms, there were some macroeconomic reforms. For example, lifting of multiple exchange rates restrictions. We introduced also the VAT in 2019. And on the investment side, AIPEX also was created in 2018, which came from the extinction of other private investment agencies. We had like different investment agencies, but it was decided that only one agency was enough, to speak about promotion of investment in Angola. Then in 2020, we created the Investment Gateway, which is a platform where investors can submit their investment proposal and where AIPEX register their projects and issue a private investment certificate. And in that certificate, we insert all the tax benefits that will be allocated to the project. Also through the Investment Gateway, we provide facilities to investors, for example, in terms of visa applications, in terms of license, in terms of land acquisition. So investors don't need to look for other public institutions. They just come to AIPEX, and AIPEX, on behalf of the investors, makes contact with all the different public institutions. And also in 2021, we made some amendments to the private investment law. We expanded the tax benefits, which in the private investment law. We also introduced a new investment regime, which is the contractual regime, where investors have the possibility to negotiate the tax benefits. Also in 2021, we enhanced investors' rights and guarantees. For example, if an investor has an issue with any public institution or a private institution, they may stipulate an international court, to deal with the issues. So they don't need to deal with the issues locally, but they may stipulate an international court for conflict resolutions. Also in 2022, we created a one-stop shop at AIPEX, where we have all the different services in our building. We also, in 2022, there were some reforms in the tax benefits code. And then in 2023, there was a visa waiver for ordinary passports for around 98 countries, where citizens from 98 countries don't need to apply for a visa to come to Angola. And I believe the Netherlands is also part of that list. So AIPEX, as I mentioned before, is an agency from the Angolan government. We're an agency from the presidency, but the president delegated the Minister of State for Economic Coordination. So is the minister that AIPEX reports to. And our core business is to promote and attract private investment and also provide support to local companies that want to export their products and that want to internationalize their services. In terms of investment opportunities, well, Angola has opportunities in almost all sectors. And as the focus for this webinar is horticulture, poultry, and logistics. As you can see, these are also priority sectors for Angola to attract private investment. In terms of logistics, I'm sure you have heard about the Lobito corridor, which is a very important infrastructure, not only for Angola, but also for the region. It is a corridor that goes from the port of Lobito in the province of Benguela all the way to the port of Louw in the province of Mochico. And it is a very important infrastructure to export our local production into the rest of the world. And along this corridor, we have also a lot of opportunities in terms of investment in logistics, also in agriculture and in food industry. The private investment law has three investment regimes. I mean, when investors decide to invest in Angola, and after they have their project registered at AIPEX, there are three regimes that the project may follow. So the regimes will depend on the activity of the project and also how much they are going to invest. For example, we have the pre-declaration regime, which is for projects in the services and trading sector. And in the next slides, I will show you what are the tax benefits for this project, for this kind of projects. Then we have the special regime, which applies to projects in the priority sector. The priority sectors are the ones that I mentioned in the previous slide, which includes agriculture, the health sector, logistics, digitalization. And the benefits for these sectors will depend on the location of the project. So the more the project is in the countryside, the higher will be the tax benefits allocated to the project. We'll also talk about more this regime in the next slide. Then we have the contractual regime, which gives the possibility, or different from the other two, this regime gives the possibility for investors to negotiate the tax benefit. So they may propose what benefits they want for the project, and then in a negotiating basis with AIPEX and the tax authorities, we will reach an agreement on what will be the best benefits for the project. As I mentioned before, these are the tax benefits for projects under the pre-declaration regime. For example, in industrial tax, it is equivalent to income tax. You have a reduction of 20% and for a period of 2 years. Application of capital, you will have a reduction of 25% for a period of 2 years. And stamp, you have a reduction also 50% for a period of 2 years. Then we have here the tax benefits under the special regime. As you may see, for example, Luanda is in Zone A, and the tax benefits are different from the provinces that are in Zone C. Why is it different? Because Luanda has a lot of, or has better infrastructure comparing to the Zone C, the provinces in Zone C. For example, we have in Zone C the provinces of Malange, Which, Lunda North. So if you decide to implement a project in Zone C for income tax, you have a reduction of 80% for a period of 8 years. But if that same project you decide to do in Luanda, you only have a reduction on income tax of 20% for a period of 2 years. So this is quite the difference between the 4 development zones. Then we have the contractual regime. As I mentioned before, investors in this regime have the possibility to negotiate. But in order for you to fall under this regime, you must meet 2 requirements. The first one is the investment amount, which has to be above $10 million US, and you have to create at least 50 jobs for local Angolans. By meeting these 2 requirements, you are able to negotiate the tax benefit. The other 2 regimes, you are not able to negotiate, and the tax benefits are already provided in the tax benefits code. In terms of customs, the private investment law also provides exemption when you, if for your project, if you need to import machinery, you need to import equipment, so you will be exempted from paying any duties. So I think that's it for now. And if you have any questions, I'll be around to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bruno, for sharing these valuable insights. Just remember for the audience, a reminder, we will share, again, we will share the presentation after the webinar. So there's a lot of information, but with the presentation later on, you can, you can look back. So let's now take a closer look at the key sectors where Dutch companies can make a difference, which are poultry, logistics, and horticulture. And during this second part of the webinar, we will hear from experts and entrepreneurs active in these sectors in Angola. And we will start with the next presenter, who is Mr. Paulo Galante. He's the administrator of Fazenda, Avícola, Avinova, and also the administrator of the National Association of Poultry Farmers. So his presentation will mostly focus on the poultry sector in Angola, what it has to offer. Well, the floor is yours, Mr. Galante.
Hello, everyone. Sorry.
Yes, fantastic.
Good evening. I'm representing Avinova and also ANAVI. ANAVI is the organization that comprises the 12 bigger players inside the poultry business in Angola. And therefore, they all together have a capacity of production annually of 30,000 meat, tons of meat, chicken meat, if I can say. But it only represents 10% of the annual meat importation. That is around 300,000 tons of chicken meat annually. And this compress or investment of the state of around $400 million. Due to the high cost of production and also the armazenation of soybean and also corn, we are facing a problem in the production, if I can say. The half production today is nearly half of our capacity. Now we are facing a problem on the capacity to finance the AIPEX, namely the production, because of the price of the soybean and also the corn. But now we are working with the government in order to see a better solution to increase the production capacities that are very low for the demands. Sorry, I don't know if you can see the slides that have been presented. Can you go to the next one? Next slide. Sorry. So today the price of the raw material is twice the international price here in Angola, due to the factors that I mentioned early, and it's very difficult to produce due to that here. Sorry, can you have the next slide? Yes. As you can see, us and the government are working on a process to integrate 6,000 families on the process of production of raw material. In this case, the soybean and also the corn, in order to increase the internal production of meat. Can you have the next one, please? Yes, those are the inputs and the inputs for the production that it's consists on the agro, that is the part that produces the raw material, therefore corn and also soybean, and also us, the industries, that we are just 12 and producing 10% of the internal capacity, and also the distributors that integrate ShopRite and others. It's our plane that will comprise all the 12 players and also the 6,000 families, that we therefore expect to achieve the 30,000 annual capacity. That is being difficult, but we are planning to start from the next year and see if we can achieve it. But it's our plan. As you can see, it's here what's explaining about the project, and therefore I'm here for every question that you might have.
Yeah, thank you very much for the insights, Mr. Galante. During the Q&A, the studio audience feel also free to ask questions in due time. We'll continue with the next presentation, which will be about the logistics sector. And we will now hear from Mr. Eric van der Kamp of Flying Swans and Mr. Valdano Candido of Arcla. They will present the Lobito Corridor and more specifically the Kaala Logistics platform. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nuria. Let me first hand over the word to Valdano to introduce Arcla and the project.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to do a quick introduction and then pass the floor over to Eric. So today we'll be talking about an exciting opportunity for those passionate on the agro-logistics sector. We hope by the end of this talk, you know a little bit more about what Angola can offer you in terms of opportunities in the fruit sector and what is being done internally to maximize the potential in the agro-logistics sector. So my name is Valdano Candido. I'm the head of the Department for Contracts and Public-Private Partnerships in Arcla. And we'll be doing this presentation jointly with Eric, where I'll be talking just a little bit about what Arcla role is in the Kaala Logistic Platform project, and then Eric will go into a little bit more detail what the project consists. So the Kaala Logistic Platform is basically an agro-logistic facility and is being implemented as a pilot project in Angolan's efforts to strengthen and improve the logistic infrastructures and logistic facilities to boost local production and to promote exports in non-oil sectors. Can we have the first slide, please? If that's okay. Yeah, great. This project is being done in coordination with Arcla, Flying Swans, and the government of the Netherlands with the support of the Embassy of the Netherlands in Angola. So why Arcla in this project? Basically, Arcla is responsible for the regulation, supervision and inspection of logistics activities and traffic control in Angola. So it's a regulatory agency, but is also responsible to stimulate the national network of logistic platforms and to promote activities and the development of and the development corridors. We aim to create coordination between different entities and to address a series of impediments and constraints associated with infrastructures and investments, but also transport and trade regulation, and improve logistics services and operations in Angola. And we aim to do that using PPP model as a main strategy, because we see it as a privileged way to boost free and competitive access for operators. We see the Kaala Logistic Platform as sort of the pilot project to implement what we have internally as the national cool logistics strategy. And we see that as a pilot project to support the agribusiness and the mineral sector. Now, this is a project that is being implemented by ARCLA, but we have Flying Swans as a co-developer of the project, and also the support of the, like I said, the government of the Netherlands. So with that brief introduction, I'll pass the floor over to Eric, who will explain a little bit more about Flying Swan's role in the project and what phase of the project we're in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valdano. Yes, so my name is Erik van der Kamp. I'm a project manager at Flying Swans. We are a Dutch organization, and our specialism is to develop agri-logistic facilities, agri-logistics corridors, and often in emerging markets where the logistics is still, can be very catalytic to help other sectors, especially the food sector, to grow. That's also our origin as the Flying Swans. We were created by Dutch government together with larger Dutch businesses as the Port of Rotterdam, the Fresh Produce Center, or in Dutch the Groente Fruithuis, to see as we could be an organization to also work together with African countries that have a high potential for producing fruits and vegetables, but where logistics and especially cold chain logistics can still be improved. We have projects ongoing in various countries in Africa, Ethiopia, whereas the project Koelpoort Alles is already being constructed, and other countries which the project development is going on. And we are financed by the Dutch, let's call it financial institution, Invest International, for project developing those projects. For Angola, as Valdano said, there is a partnership between the government of the Netherlands and Angola to develop such agri-logistic facilities focusing on the Lobito corridor. And we as Flying Swans are supporting that government-to-government partnership with a first project, Kala Logistics Platform. And there's a lot to tell about it, but the type of work we have been doing to support ARCLA's, for example, the market studies to identify what value chains are interesting, for example, fruits, what are potential customers. We'll talk a little bit, not specifying too much about that later. And the current phase we are in, and that started this year, is that the feasibility study is ongoing as part of a World Bank program in Angola to assess all the different feasibility elements. And that's hopefully still to be finalized soon, after which construction of the basic infrastructures will start. And of course, it's also the process for a private operator. The groundbreaking and leveling of the terrain has already been done, and ARCLA is also hoping to launch an intermediate cold chain solution to already support local farmers this year. Get into a bit more detail how that would look like. We can go to the next slide. I see this is not exactly how it should be, but we have here a picture of Angola. We've talked a lot about the Lobito corridor, but why is this actually interesting? Lobito corridor, of course, connecting the Atlantic port of Lobito through Angola to mineral-rich regions in DRC and Zambia. That's why there's a lot of geopolitical interest also in this Lobito corridor. Was rehabilitated, and a concession has been given to company Lobito Atlantic Railway, LAR, but also a new concession has been given to the terminal operator of the port of Lobito. to AGL, Africa Global Logistics, part of one of the largest shipping lines in the world, MSC. So the expectation is that whereas Luanda is already also a very large port, of course, also Lobito will grow, and over the years this Benguela Railway or Lobito Corridor will be an interesting way to bring down the costs and improve the connectivity, not only for DRC and Zambia, but especially also within Angola. And within Angola, there's along the Lobito Corridor a lot of agricultural activity already and high potential for fruits, for cereals. So that makes it interesting to also look at those interfaces along the corridor in Angola. And one of them is the Kala Logistics Platform, which is a rail terminal with also intermodal hub, offering warehousing, cold storage services for the Wambo region. I say it is, of course, we're still in the feasibility phase, but that is what it's envisioned to be. Envisioned to be multi-user and multi-sector. What we found during the earlier phases of the development, doing the market study, is, for example, that a large rare earths mine is opening nearby. That in the fruit and vegetables, there's already some avocado growers, and Chris Masters from Agroportal and Fazenda and Mungo will tell more about that, but which have started avocado production. And also there's potential for other fruits and vegetables, also for the local markets, for cereals, and also some other industrial activity. Maybe go to the next slide. Yeah, before we go into the Kala Logistics Platform as a specific project, maybe interesting to say that in the earlier phases of the development, a study was carried out to map the potential of very different fruits, tropical fruits for export, so specifically for export. And that was done not only for the province of Wambo, where the Kala Logistics Platform is in, but also for the province of Benguela, which is more to the coast, where also Lobito and Benguela are. And you see here that high potential was estimated for avocado, banana, citrus, grape, mango, and pineapple. Whereas, especially for banana, there's already some sea freight being done, especially to Portugal. And for avocado, the ambition of the parties in Angola is to start that also. And some small volumes of mango are also already being exported. Go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is an artist impression of the location for the Kala Logistics Platform. Of course, it's an artist impression, so I'm sure it will look very different when it's being constructed. But it's just to illustrate a bit of what would be the function and the idea behind it. So as I said, the expectation is that the rail between Lobito and going up to DRC and Zambia, but also crossing the province of Wambo, will have a very positive effect. Therefore, it's first a rail terminal with also storage for full empty containers. Furthermore, parties like rare earth minerals would also need some dry storage. So for that warehouse facility for various parties. As I said, there is a lot of potential for the fruits and vegetables, both for export as well as for local. So for that, a cold storage and packing facility. Furthermore, there have been some interest and also interesting volumes for cereals, therefore the silos. But there's also interest from other parties that say, okay, if I have here the basic infrastructure like the logistics services, but also electricity, water access, I would like to have a plot of land to start a business. So, for example, a Dutch company active in avocado oil has expressed interest, a fertilizer party, and so there are a few more that expressed interest to also use this, and that shows the potential catalytic effect. Of course, currently in the feasibility study, we are estimating based on the volumes that we know from those potential customers, what would be needed as the sizing of the buildings, and then all the different elements that are related to that. Then the final slide, just wanted to show as an example of what's being done. So often it's not only the logistics, but it's also the product or the value chain that is to be developed in parallel. So it's of course we can put the infrastructure there, but we want it to be used. But it's also the other way around. So there's an emerging avocado cluster in Angola, and Chris can maybe tell a bit more about that. But they also need facilities to be able to export. So you need both the logistics and the volumes at the same time, preferably. And for the avocado cluster, there's already a few parties like Fazenda Mungo, like MMM, like Alto Tombola, that have planted as avocado and are together with a large international avocado trader looking to export from Angola. Angola has very good potential, whereas for other projects like banana, it's more towards the coast. Wambo is a bit higher, and there's also good rainfall, water access, and has a specific season which is interesting for supply to Europe. So the Gala is centrally located to those farmers, and hopefully also other farmers will join this, and that's actually a very interesting value chain for the Gala logistics platform, specifically for the packing and cold storage facilities. Of course, for the rail terminal, there's also other volumes like the mining sector to use. That's to show what we are doing, where we are currently. I hope that was interesting. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Valdano or me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Valdano, and thank you, Eric, for the presentation and sharing the insights about the Lubito corridor and the Kahala platform. Yes, we are going to the next presentation. We have heard his name quite a few times already. So it will be provided by Chris Masters. He's an agri-entrepreneur and is the owner of the company Agroportal. Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nuria. Eric, Valdano, it was very good to see you guys. Bruno as well. Yeah, I'll try to be brief. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to this webinar. As mentioned, I was also part of this trade mission to the Netherlands a couple of years ago, where one of the highlighted opportunities were avocados. Okay, and that's a little bit more of what I'm going to be talking about today, both my experience and what I'm doing, just to give an overall context of an actual entrepreneur working within the Angolan context. So please go ahead, slides. So yeah, I mean, it's really all about building Angola's future, okay? And one thing that I'd say, by the way, and this is a point in question, I'm notwithstanding the name of Christopher Masters, I'm also Angolan, so I'm Angolish, as I often say, Angolan British. And you do have to believe in the country. And if you get to know the country, you end up believing in it. And just as a little bit of a background, at least in my view, and I think in the view of a lot of the people that are working in Angola, the rewards or the potential rewards are directly correlated to the challenges as well. So it's not an easy place, but it is a rewarding place, okay? And I think that is something to keep in mind. So this is just an aerial view of my farm. That's Mungo Farm. Please go ahead. I just have a few pictures in the middle of all this. So what am I doing? As I just mentioned, I'm the founder of Mungu Farm. When I first got that farm, it was an old ruin, and I'd go there in my tent and set it up and think, okay, one day this will be a farm, and you know, it's getting there. It's still a long way to go, but it's in the right direction. At least I hope so. And avocados are the flagship crop that we're going to be having there. Okay, there's more. We've been doing trials with macadamias with excellent results. Coffee, Arabica coffee, Mungo was one of the regions already from colonial times that had some of the best coffee in the country. So you know, there's more than just avos, even though I'll concentrate a bit more on avos. I'm also board member of AIPEX, which is the Angolan Agriculture and Livestock Association, and the founder of Agroportal, which is the Angola's agribusiness web portal. So between all of these things, I do feel I have a bit of an understanding of a pulse of what's going on within the agri sector, and also the founder of Agri Heroes, which is an agri marketing agency. So I'm a marketing guy. I'm not an agronomist, by the way. I'm a marketing guy, and I see the potential of all this agribusiness sector, and I have become very involved in it, as you can tell. So you know, you've been hearing about avocados. Eric also mentioned that. There is underway what is now being called and soon to be launched officially the Angola Highlands Avocado Cluster. It's worth mentioning, and I'll go through it soon in some of the other slides, but you know, according to arguably one of the world's most credited experts in avocados, 30+ year experience, according to him, you know, what Angola has in the highlands in terms of altitude, climate, space, and water, all those four at that level, it's like avocado dreamland. And no other country in the world can boast all four of those at the same time. So Angola's role here really, and the idea here is to really put Angola on the world avocado map and create a world-class industry, because we have all the elements there. And the challenges as well, but that's why we're here, to overcome those. So I'm a big fan of, you know, sustainable agriculture, this working very much together with the Dutch authorities and the Angolan authorities and everybody else that you guys saw here, AIPEX, Flying Swans, etc., to Avícola as well. You know, all about logistics integration and inclusive value chains. So please go on. So why avocados? I already said, you know, we have unique agroclimatic conditions in terms of altitude, climate, space, and lots of water. You guys probably don't know this, but you saw that river on the farm. Just on the other side is Bié province, so that's already bordering, you know, between Wambo and Bié. And Bié is the province where you have what are called the Angolan water towers, which supply a staggering 3/4 of something as crazy as that of all drinkable water of sub-Saharan Africa. So we have a lot of water. Okay, so if those four pillars were not enough, we have a fifth major pillar, which is our production window for avos is exactly when Europe needs them and doesn't have them. Okay, so we've got this October to January, February window, which is perfect after the other ones. It's all the difference between making this new cluster and industry a success or not. Obviously, we're focusing on Europe, the whole Lobito corridor that you've heard of, and then the connection to Rotterdam. So the proof of concept is that, you know, early trials have been showing excellent avocado quality and excellent macadamia quality and a few other things like that. So moving ahead again, please. This is another picture of the farm where we are very busy. I think we've got about, I think we're like on dam number 17, because everywhere where you have two hills, you have streams of water coming. So we're not stopping the water. We're obviously using it in a sustainable and smart fashion, but that's a whole nother conversation about how we're doing things at the farm. But please, moving ahead again. So key insights, some of these have already been mentioned as well, but you know, it is this avocado industry or future industry, it is in a very embryonic stage, okay? We've got about, on the ground, not much more than 600 hectares across 7 farms, but I can tell you that those numbers are changing fast, okay? So there is this huge potential, but also, you know, the challenges. There's there's need for a lot of technical know-how, certifications, which, you know, some of the farms, there was already a few with Global Gap. We're busy as well. All the farms within this cluster. I mean, this is a pilot cluster, of course. 3 farms that are involved in this cluster don't make a cluster, but it started. Okay, it's actual reality. It's gone from theory already into practice. So we're all busy with our Global Gap certifications, logistics solutions. Everybody is very much betting and rightly so on this Kalo logistic platform. And the logic really is this cluster approach. It's all about nucleus farmed, smallholder integration, which is absolutely fundamental, the logistic platform at Kala, and then connecting everything via the Lobito corridor to Lobito port and Rotterdam. That's the game plan. That's what everybody is busy working on right now. So obviously, you know, it's very nice to talk, but none of this can happen. And this export strategy will not happen without all the necessary cold chain certifications, traceability, international partnerships. All of these things are in motion. Okay, so it's all work in progress. Like everything else in agri, as far as I'm concerned, it takes longer than we want to, and it's not easy. It's a process, but it's underway and it's being done by serious people. Next one, please. So some of the changes and challenges in the sector. I mean, challenges are they exist. Okay, let's you know, you have to enter with your eyes open. There are challenges, but like I said, the rewards, I believe, are proportional to them. So there are all these technical capacity gaps, also in terms of propagation, pest management, post-harvest. All this is work in progress. Market readiness, we've gone through some of these, the quality standards, we're working on that. International marketing, we're busy, you know, all of these things are going to be happening. And then there are some macro constraints as well when you talk about Angola, Forex, inflation, access to finance, logistic costs, things like that, okay? I just saw a message, thank you. And then, okay, some changes, positive changes, okay? And it's true. The fact of the matter is that Angola is undergoing major change. It's becoming more and more open, more and more friendly, working hard to try to get its standards in terms of ease of doing business up and running or better and better. So all of these things are happening, okay? There is stronger and stronger private enterprise. I'm part of that. This whole impact cluster model, I mean, the wheel is invented. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, okay? Everybody knows what needs to be done. We just need to do it and adapt it to our reality. That's it. And surround ourselves with the right people, training, nursery, certification, share, you know, we all know what needs to be done. We just have to do it. And it is underway. We're doing it. And then obviously, you've heard as well today, there's more and more international cooperation and interest. Geopolitics is one of the words that was already used, and it's true. I often say that, you know, within the global context, and maybe not all of you are very aware, but Angola, Cold War, there was a lot going on there. And right now, even now, within this whole, the Western powers and the other bloc, everybody's kind of vying for Angola's interest and attention, like the belle of the ball. And I often say that within that, you know, the prize is the Lobito corridor, and within that is the Kala logistic platform, and within that, avocados are the ones that are shining more than anything else at this moment, even though everybody's busy working on other potential clusters and added value products, okay? Some of which have already been mentioned here today. But the fact of the matter is that the EU is very interested in this. Americans are, World Bank, you know, Dutch as well. Everybody is working and wants to see this coming to fruition, okay? It's not just wishful thinking. Everybody's working very hard on that. So another slide, please. So future vision, that's my part. Really, it's all about this. You know, we're working very hard on this Angolan Highlands avocado cluster. If this doesn't go right, then nothing else will. Okay, I truly believe that we're in the right direction. It's all about positioning Angola as a new premium origin of avocados globally, and obviously this will help with the whole other things, other horticulture products and others. It's all really about empowering smallholders and rural communities through shared value models. You know, again, the wheel is invented. We need to make sure that the local populations see the activities that are there as beneficial to them as well. It's got to be a win-win, otherwise it's not going to last. We want to connect horticulture to those broader logistics and export corridors, which everybody's busy with again. And finally, build Angola's reputation for quality, sustainability, and resilience. Angola has been very close for many years for all the reasons that we know historically, and now the country is opening up, and rightly so. It's an amazing country, and I'm a believer. If you haven't noticed yet. Next slide, please. Yeah, our babies on the ground. It is happening. Okay, and they're not the best picture maybe, but they're looking good. They're looking very healthy and happy. And I think the last slide. Okay, so closing message. Like I said before, repeating it for the third time, with repetition hopefully comes retention. We have unique and ideal land, altitude, climate, and water, particularly for avocados, not only, but particularly for avos. And truly, and I think that's why we're all here today, with the right partnerships, Angola can become and will become one of Africa's most inspiring agriculture, not just horticulture, agricultural success stories. I'm a believer, and history shows us that it is possible, okay? And to close off, one of my favorite African proverbs: if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Grace, for sharing your experiences in the avocado business, but also
My pleasure.
how to do business in Angola as general. Thank you, very inspiring. And I see
Thank you
some
very much.
already reaching out to you via the chat, so it's just very
Thank
good.
you. Thank
Yeah. Well, given the time, we still have 15 more minutes. We are entering the next phase or part of our webinar, which is the panel discussion together with Q&A. I see that some of you have already been sharing some questions via the chats, which is very good. And I will present the panel, which is Mr. Corné de Louw. He's the Program Director, Advisory Services at Rabo Partnerships. And also here today is Mr. Alwin Leondas. He's the director of FAMS Group. So we will briefly discuss their experiences, but also challenges and opportunities in Angola. So to the audience, please feel free to share your questions also in the chat, and we will address them as time allows. And Corné and Alwin, thank you so much for being with us today. And first of all, could you please briefly present yourself and how you're active in Angola? And yeah, Corné, feel free to start first.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Noria. Thanks a lot for having me here. So my name is Corné de Louw. I work as a program director at Rabo Partnerships, part of the Rabo Group, with the mission to contribute to food system transitions in emerging economies. And we have a very valuable partnership with BV Bank Angola, one of the leading banks in Angola, that has a lot of appetite to enter the market to increase their portfolio in food and agribusiness. And I think this is a great opportunity also for the bank to become a leading ecosystem player.
Yeah, thank you, Corné. Alwin?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to be part of this this webinar. I'm originally from Groningen, from the Netherlands, living in Africa for more than 25 years now. Living in Angola, just to make it more specific, for 23 years. And I'm the founder of the company called FAMS. So as you can see, FAMS stands for Freight and Management Solutions. We started in Angola 10 years ago, after I was a regional director for DHL, maybe similar sort of company. And we are now active in 6 countries in the Southern African hemisphere. So FAMS is offering logistics services, which basically means freight going from very big containers to air freight, and also small packages where we represent some big international companies.
Yeah, thank you so much. In a nutshell. Thank you, Alwin. Yes, let's start with Corné, because you have been working together with BFA, as you explained, and you've been often in Angola. How many years? And since the beginning, let's say the start of the collaboration with BFA till now, how did you experience the country and how do you see being developed? And what does it do with investments, specifically perhaps from the Netherlands or other European countries? So what have been your experiences so far?
Yeah, interesting to share is that we started, I think, 2 years ago, while Rabo has for more than 50 years experience in Africa. So it was our first engagement in Angola. And I always say Angola has it all. So I can confirm the previous presenters. I've traveled across Africa, and there's always a particular constraint. Either it's landlocked or they don't have water. And Angola has it indeed all. So I'm also a believer in Angola, in this country. And I think in terms of timing, it's the right time to enter. Of course, it needs a long-term commitment. I don't believe in short-term gains. But now you see that the country is opening up. And at the same time, indeed, a lot of challenges also for the banking industry. And I think it's also important for the participants to understand how banks work and what it needs to unlock access to finance.
Yeah. Yeah, because just to continue about in terms of finances, and I think Chris also mentioned this during his presentation, that yeah, one of the challenges, particularly, it's not only to Angola, it's around foreign exchange, forex, repatriation of profits. Yeah, so what are your ideas about Dutch businesses, how to navigate in that financial landscape, while at the same time, yeah, hope trying to build sustainable operations in the country?
Yeah, I think you have to involve banks in the beginning. In general, banks do have long lead times. And I have to be honest, banks in Angola have extremely long lead times. So if you need finance for your investments in Angola, please start on time and look for creative solutions. As timing is important, everybody explains the cluster approach, which is really helpful and in which also BFA Bank strongly believes. But in the beginning, it is quite risky for the bank. So sometimes the investments are beyond the risk appetite of the bank, and then you have to look beyond that and think about blended finance solutions with international partners, and that makes lead times even longer.
Yeah. And then I moved to Alwin because, yeah, you've been in the country, I think, for 25 years or 20 plus years. How did you experience? How did you start? And how are you doing? Yeah, although there are some challenges, but yeah, you're a product of something that succeeded. So can you share your experiences with us?
Yeah, so maybe in short, and it's nice to get some other views. I know Chris very well, and we share a bit the same sort of passion for Angola, for Africa. It is really an African country where you have, as Chris mentioned it very well, the opportunities are in the same dimension as all the constraints. And if you look back at when I started working here, which was just after the Civil War, you had, let's say, the oil and gas boom, which was the main economy, let's say, the pillar of the economy from Angola. And I was always active in logistics. So in that regards, you see a huge demand in imports. At the same time, if you're looking a bit fast forward, the country has realized that oil and gas is not the only pillar for the rest of the future. And they are opening up in a very positive manner. And I can say that because I can compare it to some other countries where FEMS is active, which is a very pleasant surprise. And networking, I would say, is much easier and better. And it's also essential to do if you go to Angola. And I think that not only the government is open-minded, but also you feel it in the normal, let's say, day-to-day businesses. People are interested. They like to know what other people are doing, and from one connection will become maybe a very profitable other connection. If you're looking at challenges, there's plenty. and that's something you have to accept if you want to go to an African country. I would say that's not specific Angola, and banking is one part. Logistics is more my side, and I think it's very important that if you're going to start, that you work together with some companies. Not saying only my company, but a company that you can trust, because you're going to put a lot of risk in taking your products in or out, which is a part where you can make it or break it.
Yeah, since you're quite a long time active in the country, what are the things when you're looking back that you wish you would have known? And then to share that. Yeah,
That
I
could
know
be
it's quite hard.
a long list. In the end, it's also, as Corné is explaining, you have to have a long-term vision, and you have to have a long-term concept if you want to start. And I think that's the most important part. You will encounter all sorts of challenges, and whatever direction you go, if it's agriculture business or banking or other sort of trading, there you have to be open-minded for how to deal with all the challenges and problems. At the same time, I always say solutions are designed for problems. So you have to keep that in your mind in order to stay positive, but also to stay productive and in the end prosperous, to make some profit. Yeah. So I could make a big list of things which I would like to know, but also realize that changes are a normal fact in an African country. So also be open and flexible from a financial part, but also from your structure in your company, to always be open-minded for upcoming changes that might occur in 1 or 2 years from now, which I don't even know exactly how it's going to be.
Yeah. But and this is a question to both of you. When we're looking at the three sectors that you just presented and spoken today, so the poultry, horticulture, and logistics, how do you see the future of these sectors in Angola? Are you optimistic about it? We just heard Chris said, well, there's the interest from all different forces, the European Union and US. Do you see a lot of things also going on in the country? Can you feel it? That appetite that also Chris spoke about it?
See the positive vibe in Angola. I think what is important is timing, because you have to develop things in the right time and to involve partners on time. What I mean, for instance, if you look at poultry, the development of the hatcheries is important, the feed mills. You can still hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Sorry. So the hatcheries are important, the feed mills are important. Already mentioned in the beginning that the corn and soybean prices are sky high. So if you want to develop the poultry sector, work together, look at the blank spots, create an ecosystem, and be aware that you have to work together, and look for trustworthy partners and involve banks in the beginning of this process so that they gradually understand the whole business. Because banks live in another ecosystem and you have to involve them from the beginning.
Yeah, it's true. So create your own ecosystem around it, what you want to actually want to develop. Alwin, you want to add anything?
Looking at the future, I think in general the world, let's say, future aspects are unstable. And I just made a post on the similarities that you see in the US compared to Africa, which is a common fact. And I think looking at that position, Africa and Angola, in more specific, has more options to grow from, let's say, from 10 to 20 than from a European way where you have maybe from 100 to 101. So you have to stay positive, and especially I am very positive about Angola. And coming back from where I come from Holland, I also see that the Dutch approach, the very pragmatic approach, the keep it simple approach will get you very, very far in places like Angola. So if anyone that is interested to come here, feel free to contact me. I'm always available.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a few more minutes. I saw in the chat, for instance, a question from Natasha from Cornell the Holding. And I believe that question was about the Kaala platform. She asked, please elaborate about the hinterland volumes of the Kaala platform. Also, what is the life of mine of the rare earth mine? I think that question was to Chris when he was presenting, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that might be for Eric. I think that might be
For Eric. Oh, it was
Yeah.
for
I think that's for
Eric.
me. I also already replied in the chat that the volumes, of course, it's quite confidential, but I can share it with Natasha separately, so I will do that.
Oh, okay.
But the life of the mine is over 20 years indeed.
Okay, thank you. And I saw also from Laurent, but I believe that also Laurent from Cornell there, that Bruno shared that information already in his presentation. Indeed. Are there any questions? We still have 2 or 3 minutes. Please feel free to pop it in the chat so we can ask either one of the presenters to answer. So actually now it's the time. And if not, then either how we will share all the, share the contact details. Yes. We will include all the contact details of the presenters so you can directly contact them. And I will like to give the floor to Ambassador Salvador just to do the closing remarks of this webinar. Thank you so much for all the presenters. Yes, feel free, Mr. Ambassador.
All right. Thank you, Nuria. Dear friends, as we conclude, I extend my sincere gratitude for your engagements and contributions to today's discussion. We have seen clearly Angola's determination to diversify its economy and strengthen food security. And the Netherlands' unmatched expertise that makes it a natural partner in this endeavor. Allow me to highlight the passion and vision shared by Chris Masters and Alwin for the agribusiness and logistics sector, which remind us that innovation and dedication are key to transforming opportunities into reality. Equally, the wise advice of Corné, the Louw from Rabobank, reflects the long-standing commitment need to sustain partnerships that endure to deliver results. What we take from this session is not only knowledge, but also inspiration to build together. The upcoming agriculture trade mission in October will be the time to transform dialogue into concrete action. So thank you so much for being with us. Nuria, thank you so much for these efforts, and my colleagues from Luanda also for the great job. Very great job. Well done. Thank you so much for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you also to all the presenters and everybody in the audience, of course, behind your screen. And for the agricultural trade mission, feel free to reach out to the NABC, to us, to me or Dries or Bruno, either one of my colleagues. We're still in the acquisition phase, which is still open till the 14th of September. So yeah, we have already a list of companies who will join. It would be very, very nice to have a big group. You're working very hard on the program. Ambassador Salvador shared a draft yesterday. I see the Ministry of Agriculture joining on the first days. We will have high-level exchanges as well and field visits. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us if you would like to know more about the trade mission and about the program itself. So thank you very much once more. And yeah, hopefully we will see each other in Angola. Thank you.